In Packet Tracer 761, we will investigate types of wide area networks and explore a topology that uses various connectivity technologies to connect business and home users to data services. There is no scoring in this Packet Tracer activity. You will only need to turn in the Word document. To make more room to display our networks, you can uncheck the dock and the top checkboxes, get that to go into the background. And we will begin with a topology on the right, two home networks. In the document, step 1A, look at the two home networks. What are the WAN technologies in use is the first question. We can easily see that the first one is cable, and the second one is digital subscriber line, or DSL. Those are the two WAN technologies in use in the two home networks. Next, examine the connections used in the network topology by selecting the connections icon, which is the orange lightning bolt. When you select that, you can then hover over the different media options. And as you hover over each one, it will display the name of that in the white box at the bottom there. And it wants to know what media is used to connect the two home networks to the ISP and what devices in the home networks are directly connected to the ISP. The first connection here is the blue zigzag cable. Hover over that. The media type is coaxial, and the device that it's connecting from the home network to ISP is the coaxial splitter. The DSL connection, the zigzag dashed black line, shows us that is a phone line. DSL uses the phone line, and the DSL modem is the device in the home that is connecting to the telephone company. So we have coaxial media, a phone line, the coaxial splitter, and the DSL modem are the two devices that are connecting. Next, click the DSL modem and open the physical tab to see what ports are available on the DSL modem and what is connected to them. Click on that. You can click zoom in. The two types of connections are the phone line on the left that connects to the telephone company, and then there is an Ethernet port to the right of that, which connects to the home LAN and the router. Next, what is the purpose of the DSL modem? This you can find in section 753. The DSL modem converts Ethernet signals to a DSL signal and vice versa. It will convert telephone data network signals to Ethernet as they go towards the home network, and then coming from the LAN in the opposite direction, it will convert the Ethernet to telephone data network signals. That is the job of the DSL modem. Next, what is the type of connection between the ISP and the home cable network? Remember from a previous question, that's coaxial. Why is the splitter necessary? The connection uses coaxial cable, and the splitter is necessary because coming in, you have a combination of data and video signals from the cable company, and the coaxial splitter needs to separate those or split those into separate signals to send the data signal to the cable modem and the video signal to the TV. Next, look at the ports on the cable modem. Zoom in for a better view. What does the cable modem do, first of all, and what connections does it have? The cable modem converts the incoming cable data signal to Ethernet to send toward the LAN, and then it has a coaxial connection to the cable splitter and an Ethernet connection to the LAN. The coaxial connection to the splitter, and then the Ethernet connection to the home LAN, to the router. Which port does the cable from the cable modem connect to on the home wireless router? And where did the interface IP address come from? Click on the wireless router. After zooming in, this is the internet port. This is the port the cable modem connects to. And then go to the GUI. Here is the IP address of the wireless router. Above that, it will tell you what the IP address source was, DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol. Next, we're going to look at the smartphone and see what is its IP address and where did the IP address come from. Click on Desktop and then IP configuration. There's no IP address on the wireless connection, so click on that to select cell 1. We do see an IP address there, which is 198.51.100.100, and the radial button for DHCP is selected. The DHCP was the source of that IP address on the smartphone. What data service is the cell phone currently using? Cellular data or Wi-Fi? We saw that wireless or Wi-Fi wasn't active. There's no IP address there. So it is currently using cellular data service. In step 2, we turn our attention to the business WAN, a retail tire store. It has a local business headquarters where most of the business functions, accounting, marketing, and production. And then on the left are 3 stores, 3 different locations that are connecting to the business wide area network. Looking again at the connections menu, what different types of connections do you see in use in the business network? We see we have the zigzag red line, which if we hover over that is a serial type of connection. That's one type. Then the solid black line here represents copper. So this is Ethernet over copper. The stores themselves, this should be yellow to indicate fiber is carrying the Ethernet traffic between the stores and the headquarters. So the 3 types that we have are serial, Ethernet over copper, and Ethernet over fiber optic. And we'll be looking more closely at the fiber optic shortly. Open the physical view for the StoreNet switch. What types of interfaces are present? Zoom in and then expand so you can see better. The types of interfaces present are the built-in Gigabit Ethernet copper ports, and then there are 4 modular ports. You can plug different kinds of modules into those depending on what your needs are. In this case, there are 3 Gigabit Ethernet fiber optic SFPs, or small form factor pluggable modules, inserted. So the answer to that one, again, we have the built-in Gigabit Ethernet ports for unshielded twisted pair or UTP copper cabling. And then we have some fiber optic SFP modules inserted into modular ports for fiber optic connections. Which interfaces and media are used to connect the store networks to the business headquarters network, and why was this done? On the store headquarters side, we see the 3 Gigabit Ethernet fiber optic connections. If you look at an individual store head end, you will see the other end at each store is the Gigabit Ethernet fiber optic connection. So Ethernet over fiber optic. Why was this done? The distance between the stores would make a better decision to use fiber optic because fiber optic will cover more distance. So that was a good choice in this case. So we have Gigabit Ethernet interfaces using SFPs to connect via fiber optic cable to the headquarters network, and fiber optic covers longer distances than copper. Next, what type of WAN service is used to connect business headquarters router to the ISP? We saw that that's a point-to-point serial WAN connection. Finally, let's take a look at connectivity. If we were to ping devices within the business WAN and within the customer WAN networks, what would we see? And then what would happen if we tried to ping between the networks and also between the networks and the web server? Can all hosts ping each other and the web server, first of all? If we just took a sample to work with, store 3-3, for example, and if we were to try to ping store 1-1, which is in a different network, store 1-1 is 192.168.10.4. First, this PC has to ARP to find out what is the MAC address that goes with that IP address. And once that's done, the ping is successful within this business network. What happens if store 3-3 tries to ping the web server 209.165.200.226? That is successful. What if store 3-3 tries to ping laptop 1 on this network over here? Is 192.168.0.101. We immediately get destination host unreachable. Over here, can laptop 1 ping its local tablet PC? We would expect that to work. That's host.100, and that is successful. From laptop 1, we would expect to be able to ping web server at 209.165.200.226. And that is indeed successful. If we go to the smartphone and try to ping the web server, we are successful. What if we try to ping store 3-3 over in the business network? That is unsuccessful. In general, what we're seeing is hosts can all ping the web server, which makes sense because it's a public web server serving up public web pages, so that makes perfect sense. But they cannot ping in general between the home and the business networks. Is this a good situation? Yes, it is, because for security reasons, you would not want outside devices to be able to access internal devices. You would not want a tire store employee to be able to reach your home PC, for example, and vice versa. That concludes all the questions. If you have any questions, let me know. When you're done, please save your completed Word document and drop it in the Dropbox. Thank you.